Are we on then?
Yep.
Great, thank you so much. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Thank you for joining us. It is September 5th, and this is our regular city council meeting. My name is Melissa Youssef. May we please start with the roll call?
Counselor Woodruff,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Here.
Counselor Yazzie,
Here.
Mayor Youssef,
Here.
and Counselor Bosman's.
Here.
Great, thank you so much. May we please have the introduction of the translator?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Diego Pons. Hopefully you can hear my audio okay. I'm here today with my colleague Sam Guzman, as usual, from the Community Language Cooperative, the CLC. Thank you for continuing to invite us to your meeting, where the organizers of the meeting continue making a commitment towards language justice. What this means is that we're here to help create the space so people can continue participating and engaging in the language of their heart, just simply the language that you're most comfortable in. We'll continue using simultaneous interpretation in English and in Spanish to help create this space today. Once I finish saying this in English, I'll repeat the statement in Spanish. Then at that moment, we start the interpretation. Once interpretation is on, you'll be able to see that globe icon that says interpretation there in the bottom right-hand corner of your computer screen. As always, we'll encourage you to please select that globe icon and please select your preferred language. And if you happen to be joining the meeting on your cell phone or your tablet, you'll instead be looking for the more button or perhaps that 3 dots button so that you can select your preferred language this other way. If you're not fully bilingual, we encourage you to select your preferred language so you can use the interpretation in case anyone were to speak in the opposite language. And if you are bilingual, then you can just feel free to listen to everyone in their original language. Once you do select the language channel, you can always select the original audio to not have to hear both languages at the same time. And as always, just a special reminder, please pay attention to the speed in which you're speaking. Just please make sure you're speaking at a conversational pace like this, and please make sure you don't pick up your reading speed. So thank you so much for that. Buenas tardes a todos y a todas. Mi nombre es Diego Pons. Estoy aquí hoy de parte de la Cooperativa Comunitaria de la Justicia del Lenguaje, CLC, con mi colega Sam Guzmán. Como siempre, gracias por invitarnos hoy a su reunión, donde los organizadores de esta reunión se continúan comprometiéndose a servir la justicia del lenguaje. Lo que eso significa es que queremos crear un espacio, otra vez, para que todos puedan participar e involucrarse en el idioma de su corazón, que es simplemente el idioma en el que todas las personas se sientan más cómodas. Vamos a continuar utilizando la interpretación simultánea aquí en Zoom para crear ese espacio en inglés y en español. Cuando yo termine de decir esto, se va a activar la interpretación. Ya cuando se activa la interpretación, usted va a poder ver ese icono del globo de la Tierra que dirá interpretación ahí abajo en la derecha de su pantalla. Le vamos a pedir que por favor seleccione ese icono del globo de la Tierra y que por favor seleccione su idioma preferido. Pero si usted está asistiendo hoy a la reunión en su celular o en su tableta, por favor, busque la opción que dice More, que quiere decir más, o posiblemente el botón de 3 puntos para que pueda seleccionar su idioma preferido de esta otra manera. Si usted no es completamente bilingüe, le vamos a aconsejar a que seleccione su idioma preferido para que pueda utilizar la interpretación cuando alguien esté hablando en el otro idioma. Si usted sí es bilingüe, se puede sentir y escuchar a todos hoy en su idioma original. Y como siempre, cuando usted seleccione su idioma, puede hacer clic en silenciar el audio original para no escuchar ambos idiomas al mismo tiempo. Muchas gracias.
Wonderful, thank you so much. With that, we will now turn to opening remarks by mayor and council. Councilors, do you have any opening remarks? Okay, I will just briefly say, what a wonderful summer, beautiful, warm, sunny days. So wonderful to see our town with busy streets and a vibrant downtown scene with wonderful festivals and events and activities. And now we return to the start of school. I guess I would do a shout out to the students and say, embrace the challenges ahead. The days might seem long, but the time will go quick. And to our dedicated educators and teachers, thank you so much for your passion and dedication to nurturing the minds of our youth. Your commitment to our students will have a lasting impact on our community. And so now for all of us too, as we navigate the roads in the morning with the construction of our school zones and busy streets, be careful, give yourself enough time, and keep your eyes out for students crossing the street. So thank you so much. And then with that, we will move on to Presentations and proclamations. We do not have any tonight, but we do have some city manager updates. Passing it to you, Jose.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Yes, Mayor and Council do have one update. Our interim Parks and Recreation Director, Scott McLean, to give an update on e-bikes and the progress that we've been making on that initiative. Scott?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Scott McLean, I'm the interim Parks and Recreation Director. Just a quick update on where we're at with e-bikes and the open space natural lands. Are aware that a lot of our open space has conservation easements that were placed on them. Some of that was in part to GOCO grant funds that we used to obtain those lands. Twin Buttes is kind of the one open space area we have, does not have conservation easements. A number of years ago, we set up a trial period there for e-bikes. The system there worked for that. It's a loop system. We don't have the conservation easements. We do still have that loop open to e-bikes, and other horse stalls, overend, or other open space areas do have conservation easements on different parcels within them. So one of the things we're looking at, Durango Mesa Park coming on board, they are looking to have e-bikes allowed and designing it. The intent is to have e-bikes there, but also looking at how do we tie that in with what's happening at horse stalls. So the concern or number of concerns with going with conservation easement, one, it's just the process and a significant undertaking that it is. At this point, we would be the first in the nation to move forward with that. Because the right out of the gates on it, there's a good chance that there'd be a lawsuit that could be involved with it. A lot of time that would go into it. We could go through a lot of energy and be told no. I think what we're looking at, staff recommendation at this point, is to delay the request for an amendment. In the meantime, to look at, is there a way that we can get an initial trail into the horse stalls to the meadow area, just by setting the sooner. And the way we would do that is rerouting some trails, additional trails to make a connection, so that we have a route and horse stalls that avoids any conservation easements and parcels that have those easements on them at this point. Have talked with Durango Trails. Possibility, not a commitment at this point, but initial conversation with them is there may be potential for that to happen yet this fall. But we'll continue that, see if that's something that we can make happen. And a big picture overview, or if you've got any questions, anything additional I can provide.
Really appreciate that update. Any questions, council? Thank you so much. Okay, is that it, Jose? All right, thank you. Moving on to committee, board, and liaison reports. Council? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a couple. So we had our Creative Economy Commission on August 29th. We had first out of the chute, we had Durango Creates around 2 grants with 1 applicant. That was the Durango Open Studio Tour, which is going to kind of be the end cap of Durango Arts Week. But the Open Studio Tour is going to be on the 22nd to the 24th. We awarded the CEC awarded $4.1 thousand, $4,100. They're going to start on the 22nd at Smiley Cafe, which will be their headquarters from 5 to 8, where you can meet the artists and kind of learn about it. So it's going to be a great, like I said, end cap to the Durango Arts Week. We talked and discussed about the Creative Economy Commission to the Durango Creative District transition and what that is going to entail. It was voted on, and we're trying to make sure this process happens as seamlessly as possible for the Durango Creative District in 2024. We then spoke to a Lodgers Tax Arts and Culture Reserve Fund. So that's how we have some of that money for grants that we award in 2 phases throughout the year. And so that reserve fund could potentially be between 5 and 10% a year set aside for an economic safety net, support for bigger visionary projects, and then stable funding for the arts. So we had a pretty robust conversation around that. There's some pushback regarding the reserve fund that it could potentially take away from funding a project in a grant award period, but I think we all saw the validity in getting something like that off the ground. So one of my cool takeaways from that last meeting was Charles Leslie said, Durango is a sleeping giant to be an artistic destination. I really like being on these commissions that have visionaries to see the big picture and the future for Durango and our community. Mr. Leslie's comment left me feeling inspired by this transition and looking forward to seeing where we take the arts community next. So that was really cool to be a part of. My second meeting, we had a wildfire and watershed protection district, WWPF meeting. That was my first meeting with that group of stakeholders. So super important work that they are doing. We spoke to the scope of what the WWPF provides and how we are a unique community and that we are committing to funding the administration of the project between the director and the grant writer. We looked at other areas like Summit and Chaffee County. They passed a dedicated tax to help fund their mitigation work. So there's different mechanisms that other municipalities are employing to really try to really create impact on fire mitigation. La Plata County is also part of COSWAP, which is the Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program. And there's so many acronyms with this organization. But we are one of 7 counties in the state that employed that are part of this whole COSWAP. So it really allocates funds towards that mitigation effort. And the COSWAP was founded after the big 2020 fires that happened in Colorado. So we discussed challenges about our region and wildfire mitigation and how to best address them. And then again, it's critically important work on how do we prevent the next wildfire, and then how we're going to move the needle to keep our community and especially our watershed safe. You know, we talk about the city especially, but then also, you know, the Florida River watershed is critically important. So if that burns, then all of our drinking water is adversely impacted. So it's really important that we have these conversations countywide. So the last thing I'll add is the September 19th, I have office hours from 10 to 11:30 at Lola's Place on 2nd Ave.
Cool. Thank you so much.
I went to the CAST meeting that was in Basalt on the 24th and 25th. It's the Colorado Association of Ski Towns. It was a 2-day conference. I'll just go through a couple things that were kind of important that they talked about. Law enforcement liability. CIRSA did a presentation about it and how public sentiment and Colorado law are challenging police departments. And they talked about a few years ago, CIRSA had never seen a settlement of more than $1 million. And then 2014, 1.3, 2017, 4 million. Now we're up to 9.5, 15, 14, 19 million. And so they're saying that they're projecting about 150% increase in costs of our liability coverage, insurance coverage with law enforcement liability, which is kind of crazy. There was a big presentation on Colorado's Destination Stewardship Strategic Plan Initiative. It's an initiative that Colorado is doing from June of 23 to June of 24. Durango is part of the Mountains and Mesas subset. And there's a workshop scheduled to talk about regional issues on October 12th. I don't know if we have a person going to that or if that's like Visit Durango, or I have no idea. I'll maybe send an email. I feel like someone should be there, but maybe that's me. We'll see. We talked about, so the conference was held at the Art Center at Willits. It's called TACAW, the Art Center at Willits. And it's a total net zero off the grid art center. Beautiful. But they talked about like doing that in Vail. Where was that? Is that where I was? Yeah, Basalt, whatever. It's the biggest initiative with a power co-op. And basically their goal is like no gas line extensions, and that's how they're getting there. Anyways, it's interesting. They're building net zero homes with no utility bills to be like affordable housing there. And then they did a big transit presentation with that whole area, like Vail, Basalt, Aspen, that whole corridor, where the first and last mile of mobility was a struggle for them. Like the transit was fine, but getting to the stations was an issue. And so they did this whole WeCycle program, which is e-bikes that they're doing all throughout those towns. And then also micro transit on demand to supplement that first and last mile. Anyway, it was interesting. It was a good time. All right.
Thank you very much.
Tommy Crosby will be going to that
Great.
event.
There you go. There you
I
go.
was like someone maybe. I don't
There you
know.
go. Gilda, do you have?
Alrighty, so
We had a library advisory board meeting and we discussed issues for the coming year. Talked about some of the programs that were going to happen. It's very interesting. We also touched on the fact of, some of the books in the library and if we're having a pushback from the community at large, and everything's good. That, and then of course I had a couple housing meetings that I went to. I went to a housing meeting, innovative housing project with Jennifer Lopez. With Dave and I went to meet at their office. They talked about the transitional housing they're starting down on North Main at the Adventure Inn, I believe, and that's going to be 25 units. And it's supposed to be a complete campus with transitional housing for some of the people that are overflows for Manna and some of the, the alternative horizons. And they're also going to have people there to counsel them to move on to the next stage in looking for suitable housing long-term. I also had a couple coffees with people in the community, and it seems like meeting people one-on-one, they let me know what their issues are. And there was just one, which we were talking about earlier, was parking. Some people are still concerned about parking up here in the neighborhoods up here on 3rd Avenue and 7th. All that is still pretty crowded. And then what else? I went to the Powerhouse on the 30th. They had a Project Moxie program that involved all the housing agencies that are working together here in Durango to help move people into some type of housing and give them help with, say, teaching them about, like the, how to get help through the social agencies here. So that was all good. There was a good turnout, I thought. And I think that's about it.
Thank you so much. Councillor Bosmans.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have only one update on the Bear Working Group, which was on the 22nd, I think, of August. The Bear Working Group is a group of different entities that meet on a regular basis to educate about bear conflict, try and reduce it. And they also keep track of sightings and interactions. We've all seen a letter that was sent to council, and I'll go into that a little bit as well. It's a group that is comprises of, typically the attendants are Animal Protection, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, the city's code enforcement is often there, or always there, I think. I sometimes attend this meeting. One of the things that they do that's very relevant is try and help get grants for some of this stuff. And in specific, in this one, it would be bear resistant trash cans, commercial trash cans, metal trash cans. I think some of them were placed in Lake Nighthorse, in different places in the county. Electric fencing is where they help with. So they do a good job in raising awareness, educating people, and trying to reduce that conflict. And one of the topics was the last year they got a pretty significant grant, and this year they also got a decent grant. I think 90,000 this year and 200,000 last year. And it covers a region of City of Durango, La Plata, and Southern Indian Tribe. And the reason I'm bringing this up as well is not just to tell you about this meeting, but I learned that they got the grants, but when they get awarded the grants, they do not award the cost for a fiscal agent or administration. And I guess that triggered the letter with an ask for the city of Durango to see if they can help with that part of it, because we also are taking some of the benefits last year on the bear resistant trash cans. I think it was 450 or 360 trash cans that were made available or purchased through the city, maybe with a matching amount. Anyway, the email was sent with a letter, and I saw that the city manager was so kind of responding straight away. on that. It's being discussed as part of the budget process. So that's a little bit my update, and hopefully we can help that group of people and entities improve the interaction with bears, or the reduction of interaction with bears, I should say.
Great, thank you so much. I have just a couple updates. I'll try to be quick so we can keep going. It was absolutely wonderful to attend the retirement celebration for Elizabeth Hartley from the Durango Police Department. She was devoted to the city of Durango for 36 years, serving under 9 different police chiefs. And Jose and I both had the honor of thanking her for her dedication and commitment, as well as Chief Brammer. And several other chiefs were there too, which just speaks volumes to her dedication and commitment to the city of Durango. We were so lucky to have her, and that was a huge honor. I also attended the listening session with Senator Jeff Bridges and Representative Barbara McLaughlin on housing, who were on tour of Southwest Colorado to hear about the challenges and opportunities we face regarding housing here in Southwest Colorado and Durango. It was a well-attended group with several representatives from the city of Durango, elected officials from La Plata County, staff from Bayfield, and community residents. I thank them for joining us in person here and hearing us firsthand about kind of some of the struggles we're facing down here, and for actually taking the time to be in person visiting with us. It was really wonderful to see them. I thank them for their efforts at legislation to make a difference with housing statewide. And I also reiterated our commitment to local control. I also have city council office hours tomorrow from 12 to 1:30 in the front entrance of the library. But Dave has them in 2 weeks. So you can decide how your availability works. And with that, I'm going to move on to public comment. This is for public comment on agenda items 8, 9, and 11. Can we get the sign up sheet, please? Thank you so much, Ben. This public comment section, I'm not seeing any. Okay. I don't see any. I'm not even save my voice since I'm not seeing any people sign up here unless we have anybody virtually. Do you want to speak? Okay, this public section is for items that we're talking about tonight. And if you're interested in speaking there, I'm happy to have you. Okay. So do we have anyone who would like to speak virtually?
No, Mayor, we do not.
All right. I'll hold my breath for that then. Moving on then to the consent agenda. May we have a reading, please, of the consent agenda, Ben?
Yes, thank you. Item 8.1 is approval of meeting minutes. 8.1.1 is approval of the minutes from the August 15th, 2023 City Council regular meeting. Item 8.1.2 is approval of the minutes from the August 23rd, 2023 City Council joint meeting with the 9R School District. There are no items under final reading of ordinances, no items under adoption of resolutions by consent. And then item 8.4 under approval of other administrative items is discussion and possible action to fill the vacancies on the Planning Commission and the Mayor's Youth Advisory Commission. And for item 8.5, land use and development action items, there are no items.
Thank you so much. Do we have any council that would like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, I actually would. I'd like to remove, please, item 8.4.1. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding that item?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
May we have a roll call, please?
Councilor Bosmans,
Yes.
Mayor Youssef,
Yes.
Councilor Yazzie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
and Councilor Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I removed item 8.4.1. I just wanted to do a shout out to the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council applicants. We had some really good applicants apply for this council. And I just didn't want to roll over it too quickly because it's wonderful when we see these students step up to engage and participate. I'm really looking forward to working with them. And I just wanted to thank them for their application and their commitment to serving with the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve item 8.4.1.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Wonderful. Moving on to, we don't have any land use and development. We do have a resolution. And I'm wondering, we have a resolution concerning the city's 2023 private activity bond allocation pursuant to the Colorado Private Activity Bond Ceiling Allocation Act and providing for a transfer of such 2023 allocation to the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. Do we have a staff presentation?
We do, Mayor. Eva Henson, our Housing Innovation Division Manager, will be here to present.
Hi, good evening. You guys have the Housing Innovation Manager. Testing. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Eva Henson, Housing Innovation Manager. For a little bit of background, this initiative ties with our Affordability and Economic Opportunity Initiative. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a resolution to approve the City of Durango's 2023 Private Activity Bond, also known as PAB's, state allocation to the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, also known as CHAFA, a few acronyms, to support the financing of the Best Western, also known as the Durango Inn and Suites, now called Residences at Durango project, which is an adaptive reuse motel conversion project for all affordable 120 units that would be newly developed in our community. The Private Activity Bond Program funds privately developed projects. The bonds are tax exempt and the amount of the bonds issued are limited by the IRS. Underwriters are investor money called bond proceeds to make a loan to the project. The project then pays back the loan and the investors are repaid plus interest. The PAB allocation authorizes an issuance of bonds through CHAFA for private sector projects that meet a public purpose as defined by the Internal Revenue Code. We are fortunate to have a local project here that meets that criteria. Over the past few years, multifamily bonds have been the primary user of volume cap in Colorado due to the ongoing demand for affordable rental housing. PAB is paired with the compatible federal low-income housing tax credit projects and competitive 4% affordable housing tax credits. That's a mouthful. For 2023, the City of Durango's PAB allocation is $1,161,275, and the city has received that formal request from the Residences at Durango. Staff's recommendation is that the City Council by motion approve the resolution concerning the city's 2023 private activity bond allocation pursuant to the Colorado Private Activity Bond Ceiling Allocation Act and providing for a transfer of such 2023 allocation to the Colorado Housing Finance Authority. And with that, any questions?
Before we get into discussion, do I have a motion from council? I think it's for a resolution, correct? We're motioning to approve a resolution. Do we have a resolution?
This made me lose a bet.
Oh, that I would ask you.
Motion, yeah.
Sorry, I hope you didn't
Listen,
lose too
Mayor.
much money.
I'll make a motion to, is it approve the resolution? Concerning the city's 2023 private activity bond allocation pursuant to the Colorado Private Activity Bond Ceiling Allocation Act and providing for a transfer of such 2023 allocation to the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Council discussion?
I'm super excited for this project to move forward and continue going on. Thank you for all your hard work, Eva.
Mhm. I would agree with that. Sounds like a very good use of these funds. Excellent. May we have a roll call, please, then, Ben?
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Mayor Youssef,
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Buell.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item number 12, 12.1, an ordinance approving the annexation and initial zoning for the Durango Mesa addition to the city of Durango and declaring an effective date. Do we have a staff presentation? Hi, Vicky.
Thank you, Mayor, for having me tonight. I'm here. Things are changing. I'm here to. Hold on a second. This is a request to annex Durango Mesa into the city of Durango to facilitate creating public amenities for recreation and gathering spaces. Planning Commission is recommending approval, did recommend approval with conditions. As for strategic plan alignment, first it met the affordability and economic opportunity. 2.1, build partnerships and commit resources to help advance key development projects such as La Posta Road, Durango Mesa, and Three Springs. And then enhance livability and sense of place. Number 3, enhance Durango's sense of place in ways that celebrate the community's culture, cultural heritage, character, outdoor roots, access to nature, and unique amenities. This process went to the Planning Commission. They did approve the proposal 4-0. It's at the City Council hearing tonight. And then the ordinance, if it's approved tonight, we'll do the first reading, and then the ordinance will get final reading at your next meeting. Then it gets published, and then it becomes effective after that. The annexation is of 101,928 acres of property, and it's owned by Durango Mesa Park Foundation and the City of Durango. The land will be used for a variety of recreational amenities and preservations of open space. Currently, additional trails are under construction and the bike park is under final design. So here's a map that shows the outline of the property that is part of this annexation tonight. This includes some city property and then the rest of it's the foundation property. You can see the property is very large and it is adjacent to the city limits quite a bit, which I'll show you in another map. And so this is Three Springs down here, and then the city downtown Durango right here. And then just to talk a little bit about the site, it's actually been cut up into 35-acre parcels. It was done by Oak Ridge Energy back when they had development plans. Fortunately, they didn't sell any of those 35-acre parcels, so it stayed intact until the city purchased several of them to complete the Horse Gulch property, which is this property to the north. And then the other thing that we're bringing in tonight is this little parcel up here in the top, and that's a 37-acre parcel that the city acquired previously, but hadn't been able to annex it yet because it wasn't contiguous to the city limits. So just to see an aerial of the property and see how flat the mesa is, it's pretty amazing. And how close it is to the city and even Lake Nighthorse. And then this is another view. This is looking south. This is the access road that goes up to the top of the mesa, and it has to be brought into standards. So that's a big project that's coming up soon. And then this is a photo that shows really the top of the road looking back down to the north. And then there's just some really pretty pictures that you just have to show when you're talking about Durango Mesa. And then also this photograph shows where the city's fields are going to be. So that's this area right in here. So they have had events. They, being the foundation, has sponsored events up on the property. They've had the high school mountain bike championships in several years. They've done the meltdown on the mesa up there, and looking forward to just increasing what all we can do up on top of that, up on top of the mesa. As mentioned, it's a large property, and then there's two zonings that are being applied tonight. The first is the city property, and then the northeast stair steps, which I'll show you on a map in a second, and that's going to be zoned open space. And then the rest of the foundation property is going to be zoned rural. And that's a holding zone, and it allows for recreational uses and the bike park and other uses. So here is a proposed zoning map. The lighter green, this property here, and the stair steps up here is going to be open space, and then the rest of the property will be that rural. So the area plan that was adopted in 2018 outlines the different uses. So I just want to run through them because I don't know if everybody knows all the different uses. Here's Highway 3 down here, and this is a road that we saw the photos of. The first area is the concert venue. That's a future phase, but the idea is to have a concert venue similar to what Telluride has. And then just next to that is like a smaller concert venue, potentially, maybe a community barn, more just facilities that people can just go to, rent, hang out, do different types of uses. This larger area in here is a potential site for the county fairgrounds if they decide to come up on top of the mesa. This is a bike park. This is the area that the design is being finalized on right now. And construction is expected to start in 2024. And then these are this is the property the city will be getting. This is the fields, future development of more athletic fields. And then there's some other uses, and some of the uses that we saw recently on site were some of the flow trails that were constructed between Horse Gulch and this property up on top. So here's a photo, an aerial photo showing the property, and I'll just really quickly show you again. Here's the concert venue overlooking the town. This would be the area where fairgrounds go. This is where the bike park goes. See, it has a lot of already grade that was cut in for the different mining events that have happened over the years. And then down here is the area for the future fields. Sorry, excuse me. So the Durango Mesa Park, they did start trail construction. That's been going on. I think council got a chance to see some of those trails that have been constructed. They're not open yet to the public, but they're hoping soon. They need more rain, unless they have an update. Was the current. And then the bike park design, which I mentioned, is this is a draft of it. It is being finalized, and it does include the BMX track moving up there eventually. So the Land Use and Development Code does have criteria that we use to look at annexations. In addition, there's state statutory requirements for annexation. It includes things like contiguity, then there's process requirements, serviceability requirements, and access. And the proposed annexation does meet the Land Use and Development Code criteria, and it also aligns with the comprehensive plan's general annexation policies and encourages public improvement, serviceability, and the use of annexation agreements. So the contiguity map, I just like showing this because it's kind of amazing that it's 73% contiguous with existing city limits. And you kind of think of it as being out there a long ways away, but because we've annexed Horse Gulch, all of this is contiguous. Of course, everything to the west is contiguous, or almost everything to the west. And then the other thing about state law is it allows you to jump federal lands and state lands. And so we jumped the BLM land, and so we're contiguous with Three Springs, and we're contiguous with South Fork. So as far as the comprehensive plan policies, there's one specifically about Ewing Mesa, which is Durango Mesa, and it talks about working with the property owners in La Plata County to do this large recreation, cultural, open space project. And then the Durango Mesa area plan also talks about annexation, specifically calls out that the project should be annexed into the city of Durango. And then it goes on to talk about infrastructure improvements and that it's going to be phased over many years, and that the standards are going to be different than our urban standards that we have in the city. And then as far as community engagement, we had public meetings and hearings on the Durango Mesa area plan when it was adopted in 2018. The foundation has regularly done presentations, and city staff actually, to city council about it. The Durango Mesa Park Foundation has presented to the Joint Advisory Board, and then also the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. The foundation includes stakeholders for their demonstration trail project and the bike park master planning project. We did a public engagement open house in March, and we had 105 attendees. And the foundation has made presentations to business organizations, service clubs, and et cetera. And then I did miss one on the slide, and that is they've also been keeping La Plata County in the loop and meet with La Plata County on a pretty regular basis. So in summary, staff finds that the proposal complies with the land use and development requirements for annexations. The initial zoning of the property fits with the existing context of the area. The annexation of Durango Mesa will benefit the community by allowing development of the Durango Mesa Park in accordance with the Durango Mesa Area Plan, the Comprehensive Plan, and the park's open space, trails, and recreation master plan. And we have a recommended motion for council. And then questions.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Do I have a motion from council?
Oh, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance annexing Durango Mesa with initial zonings of open space and rural agriculture, including the finding and conditions as outlined in the staff report and discussed at this public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Council discussion. Who would like to go first? What did we do wrong?
You should take public comment first,
Okay.
because you haven't had it on this item, and it is an ordinance.
All right. We will take public comment now. I don't believe we have an item for this one though, do we?
I'll make public comment.
Okay.
I've been involved in government for 27 years, and this is by far the most generous and exciting project I've ever seen. So you guys should be very, very proud. I mean, this is just 10 times cooler than anything I've been a part of in all my experience.
You just stole all the thunder. Do we have any other public comment?
So the applicants are here, and I believe they'd like to.
Wonderful.
Foundation.
Thank you so much. Let's have the applicants, please.
Is this on? Yep. I'm Maura Montrose Compton. I'm the executive director of Durango Mesa Park Foundation. With me tonight is Mike McBaugh, who is with HDR, who works with the foundation, with the city, and with the county. We meet on a regular basis because it is a large, complex project. And then I also have Gage Sippy in the audience. Gage is working very closely on the demonstration trail project, as well as the bike park master plan. And then we have Denny Ellers, who has known this piece of property probably longer than any of us, worked with Oak Ridge, and is our legal counsel. So we just really want to say thank you for letting us continue to provide updates, and of course, really thank city staff for keeping regular meetings. Vicky especially, I mean, she is an incredible asset for this project and really understood how much it was going to take to get to this point. We've been working on this for 2.5 years specifically for this meeting tonight. So I just want to acknowledge that. We have, yes, as well as Parks and Rec staff, Turi Nykum, who recently left. Scott McLean has been very closely associated with this. Allison Baker, who joins our regular meetings. So this is not a single lift. This is actually a lift by many for generations to come. So it is not a fast moving piece. We've been working on this now for 8 years, but to get to this point and the incredible work that will come after this process is complete is probably going to be equally difficult and challenging, but the rewards are incredible. Mark, we certainly appreciate your comments. It is always great to see and understand the enthusiasm with new set of eyes to this project. So of course, we're here to answer any questions that are available at this time.
Thank you so much. I want to just formally see if there's any other public comment that would like to be made since I have not closed it. Please join us.
we do need to run the clock to keep with our rules on this.
Hi, yeah, I know the rules. Christina Rinderly, 543 Second Avenue. It's so great to see you guys here this evening and be on this side of the dais. But I just wanted to say thank you so much to, the foundation, the generous cat gift, everything you've been working on as a community. It's just it is an incredible asset for the community. I'm also on the Durango Trails Board, and it's just been a lot of excitement in the community for these new trails to open, and it is an incredible gift, and we're just so thrilled to see this happening. Every time I was just on a ride yesterday up Telegraph and looking down, and can't wait to see those open soon. So just want to say thank you, and thanks to council, thanks to staff. Thank you to all the work that's gone into this over the years. It's just an incredible asset to our community, and we're really excited. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Any other comments? Okay, I'm going to officially close the public comment, and now we will have council discussion. And if you have any questions for staff or council discussion, who would like to start?
No questions, just more comment. Having gone up there and seen the scope of what's been done up to this point, I mean, and being able to have those conversations individually with all the people that are that have helped to get it to this point. To echo Mark's words, truly inspiring. And then also, I said visionaries earlier, but truly to see this piece of land and then be like, man, we could build something truly amazing with it and really create some sort of legacy that's going to impact generations to come is truly visionary. So thank you for the ability to see this project for what it could potentially be, and then the fortitude and the perseverance to make it a reality. So very much appreciate all of everybody's work up to this point. And I'm lucky enough to ride the coattails of all the previous successors. So thank you.
There were some previous successors for sure, a few in the room. Other counselors?
I don't have much to add other than thank you, Maura, Gage, Vicky, of course, and everyone that's worked on the project. And it's pretty amazing going up there, and I can't wait to see those trails being used and the continued development. So thank you for your continued hard work, and cheers to lots more hard work in front of you guys. And I hope you stay strong and true.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much for working on this project, because I can remember long ago when it was just a pipe dream and they were talking about trying to do this, and it's really amazing that it's happening. So thank you very much.
Councilor Bosmans, did you? Oh, there's his hand. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everybody says and appreciate the generosity and the the vision and all the hard work that we have put in so far, and like we will keep putting in this great opportunity and asset to our community. So thank you.
Great, thank you. And I want to just say to everyone that I'm going to save most of my comments for the next meeting, which is the final reading on September 19th. At that point, once this is officially approved, then we will truly be celebrating and giving our thanks to those involved. But I do want to give my reasons that I will be voting yes for the annexation. Here while we're in the first reading opportunity, just immeasurable ways in which this is going to provide positive impacts for our community, beyond all the recreational opportunities, the host of recreational opportunities that will provide, including a world-class bike park, and this most amazing space for a possible music and cultural venue, which is severely lacking in our community. I can't even immeasurable economic impact that it will ultimately provide over the next several decades to our community, boosting local businesses and attracting tourists and visitors. That is going to just be a huge boom to our community. And truly, in my opinion, this will honestly become a defining feature of our community. We have been known as a wonderful town in Southwest Colorado with the train, Purgatory, the river, and the college. Add to that list Durango Mesa Park, without a doubt. I see this as the most remarkable unique and rare opportunity for our community, like our city attorney was saying, that will truly be a defining feature for our community for years to come. Quality recreational assets are a competitive advantage, and they are a huge value proposition for Durango. So this is, yes, truly historic and monumental to me, but again, trying really hard to save most everything until this is officially approved at our second reading on September 19th. So with that, I think we might be ready for a roll call. Can we have a roll call, please, Ben?
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Mayor Youssef,
Yes.
and Counselor Bosman's.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Okay, with that, if you'd like to take a moment, we can let people exit if you want, or we can keep moving on, but feel free. So we'll keep moving though to items number 13, public comment on non-agenda related items. May I have the list, please, Ben? We're on there. Thank you so much. Okay, this public comment section is for the general public comment on items that we have not considered during our public business meeting tonight. We do limit public participation in this section to 3 minutes. Council does not normally respond from the dais. Please direct your comments to the dais. And when you come to the podium, if you'll state your name and if you're a resident or not of the city. Thank you so much. And we'll start with Sweetie Marbury, please. Oh,
well, good evening. My name is Sweetie Marbury, and I live on West Second, and I live next to an ADU and a duplex. And I'm here tonight to speak on eliminating the minimum lot size for ADUs in EN 1, 2, and 3. Today at the study session, economic opportunity was a statement made by the staff concerning homeowners and their ability to have an ADU. Well, first, in EN 1, 2, and 3, they all have alleys. And so they could build a detached unit, such as even a garage apartment, and that would be an economic opportunity. Only 44 ADUs have been built since 2014. Well, second, then there is a local rebate program of $8,000 to build an ADU, and there's some stipulations. Well, that has merit. But let's take homeowner A on Fifth Avenue with a lot of 5,000 or 6,000 square feet. He can build an ADU and apply for the rebate. Let's take homeowner B living over in Anima City. He has the same lot size, but he cannot build an ADU or apply for the rebate because he must have a lot size of 7,000 square feet. And to me, that's discrimination, Mr. Morgan, especially with the $8,000 in using city money. I speak for equity and fairness for everyone to be able to apply for the city rebate and build that ADU. I have a lot of 7,000 square feet, so I'm not here advocating for myself, but I'm advocating for young families to get help with their mortgage or for seniors to be able to downsize and still live in their neighborhood. For example, the AARP magazine in a recent issue dedicated the issue to ADUs and the importance to seniors to be able to stay in their homes with a caregiver and be close to their family. The owner-occupied regulation is what protects every neighborhood. By eliminating lot sizes, Durango can keep teachers here, provide income for families, and it's one more tool to help with the housing crunch while using existing infrastructure. Mayor Renderly and myself approved ADUs in 2014. Here we are 10 years later. ADUs do not cause problems in neighborhoods. It's time to revisit eliminating lot sizes in EN 1, 2, and 3 that have alleys, and that will provide fairness for everyone and also an economic opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Christina Rinderly.
Thank you, Christina Rinderly, 543 Second Avenue. I wanted to just echo Sweet Marbury's comments about accessory dwelling units. I'm the owner of Durango Land and Homes here in town, local real estate company. I work with a lot of first-time homeowners in the community, also people looking for rentals as they're relocating here. And, you know, accessory dwelling units provide such an amazing opportunity when we're looking for opportunities. Originally, this lot sizes, when we were on council, that was the way we reached compromise with the community members in those neighborhoods at the time, because there was concern there was going to be overbuilding and this development. And now we're seeing, as we mentioned in the last, 10 years, there's been really, it has not changed the character of the neighborhoods. We did that in a gradual incremental phase, and we feel like now it's time to move on to the next phase, because the nice thing about ADUs is they still help enhance the character of each neighborhood versus a very large scale development that might be out of place in a residential neighborhood. So the accessory dwelling units actually do enhance the character and still provide the character of the individual neighborhoods. And they not only provide for an affordable rental option for people in the communities, but they also help homeowners offset their mortgage payments with those rentals. And so the really great thing is when I'm working with homeowners, if there is an ADU opportunity, they can use that income that would be generated from that to help apply for what their income would be on their mortgage statement to help them apply for their loan. We also see that in a multi-generational setting with people with adult kids moving back or, aging family member or whatnot. So they do provide this great fabric for our community. And I think it is important that we allow them across the board in our community. There's detached and integrated ADUs, a number of them that city staff has worked really hard in developing those guidelines. So those guidelines are already in place as far as size, setbacks, design aesthetics, but it's just a matter of allowing them in each neighborhood regardless of the lot size. Because I think we took it in incremental steps. Now a decade later, I think it's ready to be able to provide more options in the community. And we hope that that's something council will consider. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any, his name's crossed out, but would
Yeah, I think he was.
Jim
intending to-
Schneider, do you want to speak? Okay, sorry. I see your name and then I see a big line across it. Okay.
Oh, I had no idea. But I am here. Well, I'm not sure what happened, but there's no longer any parking on the lines. I have a son, which means I can legally go on to West Hill. There has been parking on the street for more than 40 years. So I was hoping perhaps someone, yes, just trying to make use of my time. Hello, I am.
This
Jim
way
Schneider.
everybody can hear
I
you.
live at 255 Vista Linda.
Thank you.
I've been a resident of Durango on and off for 40 years. But anyhow, but I'm here. I would like to reinstate 2 parking spots on O'Brien Street. If you look at the big map or the big picture of O'Brien, and that's Florida Road, and O'Brien is maybe a third of a mile east of Chapman Ski Area. And you'll see the first big ugly roof you're looking at with about a half a dozen cars. That's an 8-plex. That 8-plex was built in the late 70s. At that time, O'Brien Road was put in, and there's public parking there up until very recently. And trying to find out why parking was no longer allowed was very, very challenging. I ended up talking to
the Durango Fire Department, Corolla Hanks, she said that road does not meet specs for width. Now, my question to you folks, is that road's been there for 45 years. Has there ever been an accident? Has there ever been an issue? Has there ever been a problem? And so why would the Durango Fire Department, her caveat was you folks put up the signage, the no parking signs. I'm not sure of all how this happened. I'm not sure of why this happened. Everybody got very tight-lipped. But after 40 years, that's the only visitor parking for that eightplex. So because of some silly little new rule, I can no longer visit my son. None of those people in that eightplex, unless you happen to have a bicycle and live in town, can you go visit them anymore? This to me just seems, it's not kind, it's not compassionate, doesn't have common sense. I don't think anybody here would like to be treated that way. So I'm hoping somehow we could find 2 public spots on that road. And on that road, right where I drew in with the little cars, they're pretty ugly little cars. But anyhow, there's where the city years ago painted red. You can't park next to the curb at the entrance to that eightplex. But I mean, this is anyhow, but that's the long and the short of it. Little kindness, little compassion. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone who would like to comment virtually?
No, Mayor, we do not.
All right, thank you so much. With that, moving on to 14, introduction of ordinances. And 14.1 is an ordinance approving the annexation and initial zoning of the Zick addition annexation to the city of Durango and declaring an effective date. Hi, Scott.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, Scott Shine with Community Development. This is a relatively straightforward introduction of an ordinance to finalize annexation of a 1 acre piece of property along Giggling Gulch Road. It's being contemplated to be zoned residential medium and be developed with 12 townhomes. You can see the property there on the screen. If this gets approved and moves forward, we'll bring back a little bit more expanded presentation at the actual public hearing.
That is pretty straightforward. Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion from council?
I'll move to approve the ordinance approving the annexation and initial zoning for the Zick addition annexation to the city of Durango and declaring an effective date.
Do we have a second?
So time out for a second. It's a little bit confusing because we've changed the way we do our agendas. This was previously approved. The petition was approved.
Right.
So we're just trying to stay with the requirements to pass an ordinance. So all you're doing tonight is just introducing this one. You're not actually voting to approve it yet. So the motion needs to be, I move to approve the ordinance for introduction and a public hearing at the next regular meeting. Sorry.
Can we
Okay,
get a
revise my motion to introduce the ordinance approving the annexation
And set the public hearing.
and set a public hearing?
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Good job getting that one right. Can we have council discussion? Gilda?
Thank you, Scott. Could you give us a brief explanation of what this land is going to be used for?
Yes, it is proposed to be zoned medium density residential. That allows between, I think it's 8 and 15 units per acre. And the proposal is to develop this for 12 townhomes. Like I said, we'll share more detail at the actual first reading and public hearing next time. This is just setting that hearing.
Okay, I can't see Counselor Bosman's, making sure you don't have any questions. Okay, I'm not hearing it. So with that, I don't have any questions either. May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Bosman's,
Yes.
Mayor Youssef,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
and Counselor Woodruff.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Moving on to 15, other new business, no items. And item number 16, other matters. Do we have any requests for excused absences? Seeing none, any directives? Seeing none, moving on to item 17. Oh, sorry, Olivia, Councillor Bosman's.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm gonna clock out after this agenda item, if that's okay. I mentioned it in an email.
Yes, you did mention it. Thank you for letting us know. All right, item number 17, executive session. Discussion and possible action to convene an executive session to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, sale, or transfer of an interest in real property located in downtown Durango, currently leased to the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. Do we have a motion from council?
I move to discuss and possible action to convene an executive session to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, sale, or transfer of an interest in real property located in downtown Durango, currently leased to the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad for parking and to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation and direct negotiators as permitted by CRS 24-6-402, 4A and E.
I'll second.
Excellent. Council discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Woodruff,
Yes.
Counselor Yazzie,
Yes.
Counselor Bosman's, Mayor Pro Tem Buell,
Yes.
and Mayor Youssef.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Just like a recommendation. All I have to do is your fire rating, what ends up being your insurance rates in the city. So they come in and they say, hey, look, you now have all these houses here that are unacceptable that people park here. We're gonna dock you a certain number of points, which is gonna make your homeowner's insurance rates go up. That's what genuinely doing this kind of stuff. Okay. I don't know that to be a fact in this one, because that's the first time I ever heard it, but that's what I'm guessing. Because I mean, the fact that signs on it and everything. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Somebody's got to know about it. Somebody does.
Chief, did you put up those signs? Say again, sir? Did you put up those no parking signs on the brand?
No, that's city operations. Yeah. And we don't do, we do supplemental parking. We don't do it.
Go, Councilor.
Okay, okay.
Go.
Yeah.
Right. The time is now 7:09. And the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were
Mark Morgan, City Attorney.
Dave Woodruff, City Councilor.
Jessica Buell, City Councilor.
Melissa Youssef
Jose R. Madrigal.
and Aaron Hyder. For the record, council met in an executive session to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, sale, or transfer of an interest in real property located in downtown Durango that is currently leased to the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad Company for parking, and to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation and direct negotiators as permitted by CRS 24-6-4024A and E. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. Okay, seeing none, the next item on the agenda is adjournment. All in favor? Have a nice night. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.